Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, I'm Winnie and this is where I share my life experiences. Welcome! In today's video, I will be talking about tips from my experience on how you can get the best out of your placement. So if you're a nursing student, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. If you are a nursing student in the United Kingdom, then you will have to go on what we call placements. These placements are opportunity for you to gain hands-on nursing experience while working with a qualified nurse who will be assigned to you as your assessor. At the end of a time period, you will be assessed to note if you've achieved the required proficiencies, which sometimes has to do with skills that you need to have acquired so that at the end of your study, you can become a fully registered nurse. So back to the topic of today, how do you get the most out of your placement experience? Now, placement experience for some people might be relatively easy, while it might be difficult from others, because you're all coming onto the program with different level of experiences. So if you're someone who has not had this hands-on nursing experience, it might be quite strange for you at first. It's no need for you to worry. You don't need to worry about that. It's actually normal for you to feel anxious about your placement experience, being that you've never been there before. You probably have no idea how things are going to work there, so it's okay if you're feeling anxious. But one thing you can do to help yourself start out on the right foot will be to send an email. Once you are made aware of what your placement is, send an email to that department, that ward, the manager, or whoever is in charge. Introduce yourself and let them know that you're looking forward to that placement experience. You can, in your email, ask them if there are any tips, any study materials that they could send for you to prepare ahead of your placement, so that you can be making sure that you are getting the best out of this placement experience. So when you send that email, trust me, they will most likely respond back. Might not be that day, might take a few days, couple of days, but don't worry, they will reply your email and they'll probably send you some materials about the ward, the department. They tell you what the ward is all about, what they do there. Sometimes they even go as far as sending you names of cases that you might be coming across, maybe dementia, Alzheimer, Parkinson, kidney disease, just giving you examples of cases of patients that they come across, so you can read up on this, and even giving you medications that they use on that ward for you to read up on before you arrive on placement. Trust me, if you have this handy before you arrive on the first day of your placement, it might make you feel a bit relaxed. By the time you come across patients and you remember, oh, I've read this somewhere. I can see now what I read, the symptoms I read about. Oh, this is what it is. Or you come across a medication, you're like, wow, I read about this medication. So it kind of eases off that tension for you. So make sure you send an email, introduce yourself, and ask them for materials that could help you prepare for your placement experience. Now, on the day of your placement, make sure you arrive in time. All right? There are certain things that we call professional values. Now, punctuality is a professional value. And trust me, if you fail one of your professional values, it doesn't matter how many skills you have acquired during the duration of your placement, you have failed that placement and you would have to redo the placement again. And trust me, nobody likes to fail. I believe so. More so, having to repeat. Okay, while others are enjoying their holidays, you might have to go back to do that placement. It's not funny, it's not easy, it's not sweet, it's not an interesting thing to do. So make sure that you are punctual. All right. you are punctual, and you maintain confidentiality. So on the first day of your placement, arrive early, well dressed. Follow the code of conduct. Whatever rules and regulation have been spelled out for you, make sure you stick to it. Your placement experience is not the time for you to start forming, oh, I've been there before. They can't just tell me not to put on these earrings. I love my hair put this way. Make sure you stick to the rules, all right? Remember, you're there as a student. You're there to learn. So keep to the rules. And when you arrive that day on time, be cautious, be nice, be formal, be professional, okay? Be polite. Introduce yourself to everyone, all right? And let them know who you are. Start off with having the right communication with people. Don't be that student that goes to one corner and secludes themselves from the rest. Show them that you are a team player. All right. So make sure you ask lots of questions. They say who asks question, no, they misroad. So ask as much questions as you need to get you familiarized with the new environment you found yourself in. So make sure, usually they will take you on a tour to point out where things are kept. But trust me, even after that first orientation that you receive on your first day, you might not remember everything they said to you. It might need a few more repetitions for it to stick. So don't feel like, oh, they did orientation for me that day. They introduced me. They pointed out where this is. I can't remember it now. And you try to force yourself. You don't have to. Just ask. Ask. And it depends on how you ask. Ask and be polite. Always be willing to help, all right? Be willing to help on your placement. Be that student that they can always count on to help, okay? But make sure whatever help or assistance you are providing is within the boundaries that have been set for you. Make sure you are not going over and beyond what you're supposed to be doing. Stick to the rules, remember. Now, what's going on your placement? There's something that is important for you to have. It's a very short notebook. However you like it, whether it's a jotter, whether it's a diary, just something handy that can fit into your pocket, and your pen. Make sure you always have this, because trust me, you will be getting tips flying across and you will need to jot it down, because you certainly will not remember everything. So make sure you have that book. You come across any new medication, jot it down. Any new knowledge, any new information, jot it down. And when you have the free chance, perhaps when you get home or on your break or whatever time you have available for study, go over your notes for the day and try to sink in everything that you have learned. Remember, you're not just there to observe the nurses do things, you're actually there to learn. And it's one thing to learn the skill, but it's another thing to learn the reason behind what you're doing. Patients are inquisitive. They will always ask you, what is this for? Why are you asking me to do this? You should be informed to be able to tell them why this is needed. That's what we call evidence-based practice. Nursing is based on evidence. So it's not enough for you to know how to administer injections. Do you actually know the physiology of the human body? Do you know how these medications work? Do you know the purpose of the medications? Do you know the contraindications, the side effects? How are you able to educate your patients? You need this information. So make sure you have your jotter to jot any new knowledge and be that curious student, always ready to learn. Ask questions, I'll say again. Another point I would like to highlight is you need to be proactive. All right? Be proactive whilst you're on your placement. Don't be shy or timid. No, you don't have to wait to be told what to do before you do something. All right? Take initiative. You notice something is not right with a patient. Escalate it to the nurse you're working with. Tell it to someone in charge, someone who can do something about it. Sometimes it's not just, you are not expected as the student to know what to do, but Even being able to identify that there is an issue here is enough, and then escalating it to someone who can handle it while you watch and learn for the next time it occurs, for you to be able to take actions yourself. All right. So make sure you are observant, make sure you're reporting things. Don't be timid, don't be silent, don't be quiet. All right. So make sure that you are proactive, be on your toes, go the extra mile. Another point to make note of is communicate with your patients. Okay, make sure you are friendly, make sure you keep a friendly posture. Make sure you are someone who listens when the patients they talk. Make sure you are communicating with them in a way that they understand. All right. So make sure you are someone who has good communication skills. So if you don't have that now, work on your communication skills, because it's very, very important and will help you in during your placements. Another thing that will help you in your placement, for some reasons, you might not be able to work with your assigned supervisor or assessor. In that case, don't worry. You can work with other nurses, but make sure that there is a record of feedback from these people, just as a proof to show that you have worked with them, okay, and the skills you have acquired. As a student nurse, go beyond just working with your assessor or your supervisor within the ward you've been assigned to. Book what we call spokes visits, okay? You can book visits to other wards or departments of interest. Now, in a year, you will be assigned some number of proficiencies that you need to achieve. When I say proficiencies, I mean the skills you need to achieve for that year. Say your first year, for example, you might be given, say, 30 or 20 proficiencies you need to achieve. Now, bear in mind that whatever ward you've been posted to, there might not be opportunities there for you to achieve all these skills. That is where you have to be proactive to book spoke visits to other wards where you can gain the skills you need for your proficiencies to be signed off. So you are getting a holistic experience. I'll give you an example. Your placement experience, your placement might be in an elderly ward, all right? Now, whilst you're on the elderly ward, particularly if you're going to be there for a long time, meaning that this placement is for a long period of time, you can book a day visit to another ward. For example, you can book to the theater. All right, but make sure you follow the protocol of your trust or of your university. Make sure you talk to your assessor, your supervisors, the practice education facilitators. Make sure you're communicating with them. Tell them what you intend doing. Is it allowed for me to book a visit to another ward for a day? I'm curious. I want to learn how things work there, and I need to achieve this skill, and this can be done in this department quite easily. I'm sure that they will be happy or glad to receive you in that department, but make sure you are taking the right steps and following the protocols. All right, don't just assume that you can go to any department you like. Remember, you are supposed to report to your place of assignment, which is what ward you've been posted to. So whatever spokes visit you have, make sure that it has been arranged with the practice education facilitators, and your assessor or supervisor is made aware of it. Okay, now these are the tips that I feel will help you achieve a holistic and awesome placement experience. Make sure you are getting things done at the right time. Make sure at the initial interview, because when you arrive on your placement, you will be asked to have an initial interview, which is an opportunity for you to sit with your assessor and discuss things. All right, you discuss with whoever your assessor or supervisor is about what you intend to get out of that placement. For me, that is the most important thing. So make sure you're sitting down. First thing first, sit with your assessor, have your initial interview done. Make sure that for me is like a guideline It takes you through what you want to achieve in your placement. So sit with your supervisor, discuss with them. These are the things that I want to get out of this placement, and this is how I intend to achieve them. So make sure you get your first interview, initial interview done. And then we've got the midway interview. Midway interview is a way to play catch up, to see if you're on the right track. And in situations where you are not on the right track, an action plan will be initiated immediately. So make sure that midway into your placement, you have your midway interview with your assessor, where you can discuss what your progress is like and areas you need to work on and things you need to do, all right, to make sure that you are getting the best out of this placement experience. And finally, you have the final interview where you sign the dots. You get what I mean? So make sure you are doing things at the right time. All right. I hope this video was quite informative. I hope you gained something from it. I would like to hear from you. Please leave me a comment. Don't just watch and scroll. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. All right, click on the subscribe button now. All right, and until my next one, guys, keep winning and enjoying life. And I love you guys. Bye for now.